What if I told you that the secret to snapping out of a terrible afternoon mood has almost nothing to do with your brain?
Right.
Like absolutely everything to do with the microscopic bacteria currently setting up camp in your stomach.
It sounds a bit like science fiction, I know.
It really does. But I mean, have you ever noticed how one specific lunch leaves you feeling sharp, balanced, and just ready to tackle the rest of the day?
Oh, yeah?
While a totally different meal leaves you irritable, foggy, and frankly desperate for a nap by like 2 p.m.
It is a profound, almost unavoidable daily experience for so many of us.
Completely.
You are sitting at your desk, you're staring blankly at a screen, and suddenly lethargy just feels like a biological imperative.
Yes, the 2 p.m. slump.
Exactly.
Hmm.
And usually we blame a heavy workload or maybe a bad night of sleep or just general stress.
Right,
We very rarely look down at our plates to understand what is actually happening inside our heads.
which is exactly why we are here. Today, our mission for this deep dive is to look closer to the kitchen.
I love that.
We're exploring a super fascinating stack of research and clinical notes focused entirely on mood-enhancing superfoods.
Yes, the literal food-mood connection,
Yeah, exactly. The goal here is to decode that connection and find out how you can actually, eat your way to a happier, more resilient day.
which is such a highly actionable, empowering concept.
It really is.
But before we get into the exact grocery list, I do need to establish a very clear baseline from the research.
Oh, sure. Go for it.
The clinical data is unequivocal here. Nutrition is a remarkably powerful tool for supporting brain function, maintaining cognitive energy, and even synthesizing neurotransmitters.
Right.
However, it is not, and I cannot stress this enough, it is not a substitute for professional mental health care.
That is such a crucial distinction to make right up front.
It is. If you are dealing with a clinical mental health condition, food is absolutely a foundational pillar of your overall wellness. But it does not replace therapy, targeted medication, or professional guidance.
Right, of course. We are really talking about optimizing everyday mood, focus, and your baseline energy levels here.
Exactly. Supporting your brain so it can support you.
Okay, let's unpack this. What is the actual biological science behind why, say, a bowl of steel-cut oats makes me feel entirely different than eating a frosted pastry for breakfast?
Well, it really comes down to basic metabolic math.
Math. Okay.
Yeah. Your brain is a massive energy hog. I mean, it accounts for only about 2% of your body weight,
Okay.
but it consumes roughly 20% of your daily caloric energy.
Wait, 20%? That is wild.
It is, because it is constantly firing, it's constantly filtering stimuli, even when you're dead asleep.
Right, the engine is always running.
Exactly. And because of that immense workload, it requires a steady, uninterrupted supply of highly specific nutrients.
So it's not just about calories.
No, not at all. When you fuel your body with nutrient-dense foods, you are directly supporting the physical structure of your brain and its ability to regulate emotion.
So let's start at the absolute baseline then, because before we try to optimize or boost anything, I feel like we have to talk about baseline fuel.
We do.
Because according to the notes, spiking and crashing energy levels seem to be the absolute enemy of a positive mindset.
Oh, without question. You simply cannot sustain stable emotional energy without stable physical energy.
Right.
If your blood sugar is acting like a roller coaster, your mood is strapped right into the front car of that coaster.
That is a great visual. So the notes highlight 3 foundational foods for this stable energy. We've got oats, bananas, and avocados.
Yes.
And I actually like to think about brain fuel like building a campfire.
Okay, I like where this is going.
If you eat a handful of sugary candy or highly processed flour, that is like throwing a sheet of dry newspaper onto a fire.
Right. It flares up instantly.
Exactly. You get this massive, brilliant flash of heat. Your energy spikes, you feel incredible for about 20 minutes, and then nothing. Just smoke and a cold, hard crash.
A very familiar feeling for a lot of people.
Totally. But oats and avocados, those are like thick, dense oak logs.
Yes. And to build on your campfire analogy, those dense oak logs fundamentally change the physical environment of your digestion.
How so?
Well, when you eat something like oats, you are consuming a specific type of soluble fiber called beta-glucan.
Beta-glucan.
And when beta-glucan hits your digestive tract, it absorbs water and forms this thick, viscous gel.
A gel in your stomach.
Yeah. And this gel physically slows down the rate at which your stomach empties. It literally delays the absorption of glucose into your bloodstream.
Oh, wow. So it's an actual physical slow release mechanism.
Exactly. It's not just a metaphor.
And
Bananas offer a similar benefit through something called resistant starch and potassium,
right.
while the monounsaturated fats in avocados take hours and hours to break down.
Yeah.
You get a measured, consistent trickle of energy over several hours rather than a massive flood.
Which prevents the crash.
Precisely.
But why does a sugar crash actually feel so emotionally terrible? Like, why do I get so irritable and anxious when my blood sugar drops?
What's fascinating here is how the body interprets a sudden drop in glucose.
Okay.
Your brain realizes its primary fuel source is suddenly vanishing, and it interprets that rapid decline as a life-threatening emergency.
Wait, it thinks I'm dying just because I didn't eat a good lunch.
Yes. To compensate, your adrenal glands pump out cortisol and adrenaline.
Oh, wow.
The biological purpose there is to force your liver to release stored glucose to literally save your brain from starving.
Wait, so a simple sugar crash triggers a massive adrenaline release.
It does.
Yeah.
And just consider what an adrenaline spike feels like physically.
Right, your heart rate elevates, you get sweaty, your muscles tense up.
Exactly. It perfectly mimics the physical symptoms of anxiety.
That is wild.
So you might snap at a coworker at 3 p.m., not because you are a fundamentally impatient person, but because your biology is sounding a chemical alarm that you're running out of fuel.
Your brain is basically simulating a panic attack just to get you to eat a snack. That is just crazy.
Is biology trying to keep you alive?
Okay, so once we have the steady oak logs burning, once the brain has its baseline energy sorted out, the research shifts from energy supply to physical protection.
Right, because the brain is an incredibly demanding machine, as we said.
Yeah.
And generating all that energy creates a massive amount of cellular exhaust.
Cellular exhaust. Okay, the notes highlight a specific crew of foods for this protection phase.
Let's hear them.
We've got blueberries, dark leafy greens like spinach and kale, walnuts, and fatty fish. Specifically salmon, sardines, and trout.
A very powerful lineup.
Now, I understand that fish is a great source of omega-3s. I think we all kind of know that.
Right.
But I have to push back a little on the blueberries and greens.
Oh.
Yeah, the sources claim these colorful plants protect cells from, quote, oxidative stress.
Oh, yes.
And I'll be honest, I hear that phrase in wellness articles all the time, and I just tune it out. It sounds completely made up, like marketing jargon. What is actually happening to my brain cells?
It totally does sound like marketing jargon, but I promise you, oxidative stress is a very real, scientifically documented chemical process.
Okay, sell me on it. What is it?
Think of it like rust forming on the undercarriage of a car.
Rust. Okay.
When your cells convert food and oxygen into energy, a natural byproduct of that process is the creation of unstable molecules. These are called free radicals.
I've heard of free radicals.
Right. These free radicals are missing an electron, so they bounce around erratically, literally stealing electrons from your healthy brain cells.
Oh, wow. So they're just scavenging.
Exactly. And that cellular damage is the rust we were talking about.
Right.
If it goes unchecked, it degrades cognitive function and directly contributes to brain fog and even mood disorders.
So where do the blueberries come in then? Are they literally acting like tiny cellular bodyguards?
They actually are. Blueberries and dark leafy greens are packed with antioxidants.
Okay.
You've got anthocyanins in the berries, lutein in the spinach. Antioxidants are essentially molecular donors.
Meaning they give away their electrons.
Exactly. They willingly hand over an electron to those unstable free radicals without becoming unstable themselves.
That is so cool.
They neutralize the threat. They take the hit so your brain cells do not have to.
So it's basically rust-proofing your brain.
Precisely. The more vibrant colors you have on your plate, the more diverse your defense system is against that cellular rust.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. They are neutralizing the exhaust.
Yep.
And then we have the walnuts and the fatty fish acting as the physical builders of the brain. But why fish? Why does the brain specifically need the fat from, like, a piece of salmon?
Because the brain itself is incredibly fatty. I mean, it is nearly 60% fat by weight.
60%? Wow.
Yeah. And the omega-3 fatty acids found in cold water fish, specifically one called DHA, those are the fundamental architectural building blocks for your brain cell membrane.
It's the cell membranes, like the outer walls of the cells.
Exactly. For your brain to work properly, your neurons have to talk to each other. They do this by catching chemical signals, which are neurotransmitters.
Right, like dopamine and serotonin.
Exactly. Now, if you consume highly processed inflammatory fats, those cell membranes become rigid and stiff.
Oh, I see.
The signals literally bounce off. But omega-3s keep those cell membranes incredibly fluid and flexible.
So they can actually catch the signals.
Right. When you eat salmon or sardines a few times a week, you are providing the exact raw materials required to keep your brain's communication receptors sensitive, supple, and highly receptive to mood-boosting chemicals.
Which provides the perfect transition here, because the research takes a really sharp turn right at this point.
It really does.
We have talked about the physical brain, the fuel, the rust protection, the flexible cell walls.
Yes.
But to talk about the mood-boosting chemicals themselves, the sources move us entirely out of the head and straight down into the stomach.
The gut-brain axis. It completely rewrites how we understand human emotion.
It really does. So the superfoods listed in this category are fermented foods, yogurt, kefir, kimchi, sauerkraut.
Excellent choices.
Then we have dark chocolate, and finally, pumpkin seeds.
A great list.
Now, here's where it gets really interesting. I am obviously thrilled to see chocolate made the list of healthy foods.
Everyone always is.
Right. But I have to assume there is a massive catch. Tell me why I cannot just eat an entire standard milk chocolate bar and call it mood enhancement.
Yes. The catch is entirely in the cocoa percentage.
I knew it.
A standard candy bar is primarily refined sugar and dairy, which, as we know, will just trigger that adrenaline panic we just discussed.
Right, the newspaper on the campfire.
Exactly. What the clinical data supports is dark chocolate with a minimum of 70% cocoa.
70%, okay.
At that concentration, you're consuming very little sugar, but you are getting a massive concentrated dose of flavonoids, specifically one called epicatechin.
Epicatechin. What does that actually do?
It acts as a vasodilator. It physically relaxes your blood vessels and increases the volume of blood and oxygen flowing directly into your brain. It also interacts with the brain's endorphin system. So a single square of high-quality dark chocolate paired with, say, a handful of walnuts provides significant cognitive blood flow without the blood sugar crash.
I mean, I can definitely work with a square of dark chocolate. That sounds amazing.
A great little hack.
But I want to go back to the fermented foods for a second, because the idea that eating a side of fermented cabbage like kimchi or sauerkraut is going to somehow alter my emotional state, it sounds a bit like science fiction.
I get that.
How on earth are the bacteria in my stomach talking to my brain?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, it requires tossing out the old model of human anatomy.
Okay, consider it tossed.
We used to view the brain as an isolated command center, just sitting alone up in the skull.
Right.
But there's a massive biological superhighway called the vagus nerve, and it runs all the way from your brainstem directly down into the lining of your digestive tract.
Wait, really? A physical nerve connecting them?
A massive one. It is a constant bidirectional communication network.
So the beneficial bacteria from the kimchi are literally sending signals up the vagus nerve.
Precisely. When you eat fermented foods, you introduce millions of live beneficial microbes into your gut microbiome.
Right.
As these microbes digest your food, they excrete byproducts called short-chain fatty acids, like butyrate, for example.
Okay.
These fatty acids chemically stimulate the endings of the vagus nerve in your gut, sending anti-inflammatory and calming signals straight up to the brain.
That is unbelievable. And there's a statistic here in the notes that actually stops you in your tracks.
Oh, the serotonin stat?
Yes. An estimated 90% of the body's serotonin, which is the primary neurotransmitter responsible for feelings of happiness, calm, and well-being. 90% of it is manufactured in the digestive tract, not the brain.
It is a staggering reality. Most people have no idea.
I certainly didn't.
If your gut health is compromised by a poor diet, your ability to synthesize serotonin is severely impaired. But by consistently eating fermented foods, you are engineering a hospitable environment for those serotonin-producing microbes to actually thrive and multiply.
Which perfectly brings us to the final food on the gut-brain list. Pumpkin seeds.
Yeah.
The notes suggest throwing them on yogurt or oatmeal, but I have to say, they seem a bit random compared to salmon and kimchi. What is their specific role in this whole gut-brain dynamic?
Pumpkin seeds are incredibly dense in zinc and magnesium.
Okay.
You can think of these minerals as the factory workers on your body's chemical assembly line.
I like that analogy.
When you eat protein, your body breaks it down into an amino acid called tryptophan.
Oh, like the turkey at Thanksgiving thing?
Exactly. But tryptophan cannot magically become serotonin on its own. It requires specific enzymes to convert it.
Okay.
And those enzymes require zinc and magnesium as cofactors to even function.
Oh, I see.
If you're deficient in those minerals, the whole assembly line basically halts.
So the raw materials are there, but nobody's putting them together.
Precisely. Sprinkling pumpkin seeds on your morning oats ensures that the enzymatic machinery has the literal tools required to keep producing your body's natural antidepressants.
Okay, we have covered some serious ground here.
We really have.
We have the foundational fuels, oats, bananas, and avocados, slowing down glucose absorption.
Yep.
We have the bodyguards and builders, blueberries and leafy greens neutralizing those free radicals, plus walnuts and fatty fish providing the omega-3s for fluid cell membranes.
The rust-proofing and the building blocks.
Well, exactly. And finally, we have the gut-brain boosters, fermented foods, high cocoa dark chocolate, and pumpkin seeds providing the raw materials and environment for serotonin.
It is an incredibly comprehensive approach to biological resilience.
It really is. But I want to be mindful of the listener right now.
Sure.
Hearing a list of 10 essential foods and all their complex chemical pathways, it can quickly feel really overwhelming.
Oh, absolutely.
It sounds like an impossible daily checklist.
Yeah.
So how do we actually apply this without descending into, like, extreme dietary perfectionism?
That is a vital point to bring up because, honestly, the psychological stress of trying to maintain a quote-unquote perfect diet will trigger cortisol production that completely cancels out the mood-boosting benefits of the food.
Oh, the irony. You stress about the diet and the stress ruins the mood anyway.
Exactly.
The sources do outline a very practical strategy for this, though. It seems to be all about synergy on the plate,
Yes.
combining a lean protein, healthy fats, complex fiber, and colorful vegetables.
Keep it simple.
Right. But they also make it really clear that food does not exist in a vacuum. The research lists several crucial complementary habits.
The lifestyle factors.
Exactly. Prioritizing adequate sleep, engaging in physical activity, managing stress, spending time outdoors, practicing mindfulness, staying hydrated, and staying socially connected with family and friends.
All incredibly important.
So what does this all mean? When I look at this combination of diet and lifestyle, I kind of think of an orchestra.
Oh, I love that. Tell me more.
Eating a beautiful piece of grilled salmon for the omega-3s is like a gorgeous soaring violin solo.
Beautiful.
Right. It is beneficial on its own. But if the rest of your biological orchestra is a disaster, like if you are severely dehydrated, running on 4 hours of sleep, and totally isolated from your community, that single violin solo cannot save the performance.
No, it cannot.
It takes the whole orchestra to play the symphony of a good mood.
That is a fantastic way to look at it. And the research heavily emphasizes that no single superfood acts as a magic bullet.
Right.
You simply cannot out-eat chronic sleep deprivation. The objective here is not rigid perfection.
That's a relief.
The objective is building sustainable, incremental habits. Neuroplasticity, which is the brain's ability to adapt and heal, and the turnover of your gut microbiome. Both of those things take time.
Which means we should be looking for, like, low-friction upgrades.
Exactly. Just throwing a handful of spinach into a fruit smoothie where the taste completely vanishes.
Yes, or swapping a highly processed mid-afternoon snack for maybe half a banana and a handful of pumpkin seeds.
Perfect. When you consistently provide your brain and your digestive tract with these high-quality raw materials, the benefits compound over weeks and months.
So it's an investment.
It is. You build a deep reservoir of metabolic resilience. So when a stressful event inevitably occurs, your brain has the physical and chemical resources to process it calmly, rather than triggering a massive panic response.
That makes total sense. So as we wrap up this deep dive, the overarching takeaway is undeniable.
It really is.
The foods you choose to consume every day are not just altering your physical shape. They fundamentally construct the biological lens through which you perceive your reality, manage your stress, and experience the world around you.
It is the ultimate form of preventative maintenance for your mental state.
Absolutely. So we want to issue a small challenge to you, the listener, right now. Look at the very next meal you are planning to eat.
Just the next one?
Right. You do not need to overhaul your entire pantry today. Just ask yourself, can I make one simple upgrade?
That's all it takes.
Can I add a spoonful of sauerkraut to my sandwich? Can I swap out that sugary afternoon candy for a few walnuts and one square of high-quality dark chocolate?
Small changes.
Exactly. The choices are small, but the biological impact is massive over time. Now, do you have a final thought to leave us with before we sign off today?
I do, actually. And it circles right back to the vagus nerve and that gut-brain highway we talked about.
Okay, let's hear it.
We now possess clinical proof that the millions of bacterial microbes living in our digestive tract have a profound, documented ability to influence our focus, our stress levels, and the volume of serotonin circulating in our systems.
Right.
It raises a fascinating, almost unsettling question regarding human behavior.
Uh-oh. Unsettling how?
Well, when it comes to our daily moods and our emotional reactions, who is truly in the driver's seat of our emotions?
Oh, wow.
Is it our conscious mind? Or is it the trillions of microscopic organisms silently pulling the levers from inside our stomachs?
A tiny microbial steering wheel.
Exactly.
Wow. That is definitely going to keep me analyzing every emotion I have for the rest of the day.
Good luck with that.
Right. Well, whether it is you or your microbes making the executive decisions, remember what we established at the start of this deep dive.
Absolutely.
You hold the power to choose the fuel that leaves you ready to conquer the afternoon rather than the fuel that leaves you crashing. Eat well, stay positive, and nourish both your body and your mind. We will catch you on the next one.